So I'm Jared Codling. I'm a growth hacker. A little bit about what I've done. So yeah, as Will said, I've built multiple seven-figure companies. Pretty good at doing that. Taking multiple companies to 1 million annual realized revenue or whatever the fuck it is in under 90 days. And I'm a partner in multiple 8 and 9. Actually, I've got a 9-figure startup now that I'm a part owner in, which is pretty cool, which I'll talk about it in a bit. Today, I'm going to show you my exact strategy, some ideas that you're going to be able to test for yourself, and then real-world examples of tests that have worked for me. This strategy works for me literally every time I start a business. I do the exact same thing and just works every time. Well, almost every time, but some business ideas just suck. But if it's a decent business idea, it works. So here's the first test that I ever ran. So before I knew anything about marketing, anyone here heard of Ziz? That's my first business partner. So I had this idea, and like everyone was making money with like ebooks and shit, and I was like, if I could just team up with this guy, I could write an ebook. He probably can't write too well, but I'll write the book, and we'll partner up and we'll sell it. But the problem is I didn't know Ziz. So I was like, I tried emailing the guy multiple times. I even used like an open tracker. He wasn't even opening my emails. So I was like, this is where I kind of learned about split testing, you know, the real manual way. I was writing normal stuff. I got a business idea. Let's jump on a call. I have a great idea. All this shit that he's probably copying like 100 of every day in his email inbox. So here's what worked. The subject line was, I'll pay you $50 to listen to my idea. I put my phone number in the body of the email. That was it. And then he called me within 15 minutes. He's like, you actually going to send me the $50? I'm like, yeah, bro, what's your PayPal? Like, so what happened? We teamed up. We went 50-50, made about 20K. We got hacked because I was using an old WooCommerce theme that I got off Blackout World. That was really dumb. Got distributed for free. Ultimately made about 120K, and I was like, shit, you can make money online. This is amazing. So my testing's a lot more scientific now. Some key learnings from that one is like be quick to convey value. And so like a lot of my split tests are like, let's just try get this like super optimized down to like we can communicate with the customer really quickly what we do. And whether it's cold email or a land or whatever, don't waste their time. So here's how I grew my first like 7-figure company. And I've replicated this actually in the last 6 months. I just did the same industry, same thing. I've even done an even bigger one, which I'll tell you guys about. But what I do is I work out something to test in the business, and I'll show you how I come up with that. Then I run a scientific test, and it's genuinely scientific, even though I'm no scientist. And then I stack the wins. And so what happens when you start split testing and you start getting these wins, you get to keep that win and keep compounding it. And it's a really great effect that ends up happening. So this is a real world funnel. So it'd be like Facebook ads over to like an email capture, a quiz, and over to monetization, a sales page. So I'm driving them from Facebook, capturing their email, and I'm like following up and all of that. And then I'm also sending them over to the sales page. And doing email marketing, retargeting, all that. And let's say it's like $1.50 to start CPL, which is actually what I was at. Then I went, okay, how can I improve this pretty basic funnel? And what are the levers that I've got that I can kind of pull on? And so I won't get into all of them. I'll just show you the kind of method. But like one of them was like with Facebook ads, I could bid for link clicks versus impressions. Now I didn't care which one was better. I just knew that was a lever I could pull, and it probably had some result. Either way, I'm going to get that win. That was a 12% win. And that got us down to $1.32 straight away. Then a 30-second video versus an image, that was a 9% win. Then, square videos actually take up more real estate on mobile versus a rectangle. That one still works really well. That was a really good win. Now we're down below $1. So I just kept finding these things to test and test and test. And this process took like a little bit of time, but not that long. Like it took like 30 days or something to go through all these. You get this all the way down, 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 down. And then we got down to 9 cents. So we went from $1.50 down to 9 cents. Revenue per user is around $2. So, before testing, here's the numbers. Basically, if I spend 10 grand, before I'd make 3 grand, now I'm making 200K. And this is how it actually played out. Like I went from 0 to 30K a week in like 90 days doing this business. Doing this lead funnel and just getting it really dialed in. And so the first step is, well, what do you test? Because I've got all those things that I tested. How do I even come up with what I'm going to test? I test everything. It's super counterintuitive. So I've got this new business. I'm a drug dealer. I sell Ozempic. Basically it started like this as a quiz funnel. So and I started this company about 6 months ago. We started off with 8 questions. It was basically with 8 questions, we know whether you're going to be a suitable candidate for Ozempic. 1 in 12 converted at the end of that. Customer acquisition cost around about $150. really counterintuitively, but I like to test everything that I can think of, and this is a pretty easy one to test. I moved it to 35 questions from 8, and you'd think, shit, people are going to be dropping off, they're not going to be bothered to fill it out and all that. No, we don't even read the answers, to be honest. By the time they've done 35 questions, they are so invested in finding out whether they qualify that they're just ready to go. So that now 1 in 8 convert. So there's no loss in completions. People are going through it. CAC's now $100, 33% improvement with something super counterintuitive. There was another factor in that. It wasn't just the number of questions. We were getting them to sell themselves on the process. So I'd have a question like, how has being overweight negatively impacted your life? And they're kind of, oh shit, I really do want to lose weight. You know what I mean? They're filling that out. So there's other factors in that. But I'm doing over 200K a month now. It took me 6 months to get there from 0. So, and that's grown really quick. We'll probably do 250 this month. We did 200 last month, so it's grown really quick. So what do we test? Pick the area you think is weakest in your funnel. So you look at your whole business, and like this could be your landing page, it could be your traffic source, whatever it is. Pick the area you think is weakest. Brainstorm a shitload of ideas. Just throw a heap of stuff out there. There's no bad ideas. Just put them all down. And then you score them and put them in order. So I've got a framework for this. I didn't come up with it, but I use it religiously. So here's just some quick examples, and I'm going to give you guys a slide so I can just kind of get through some of this stuff quickly. But like, with traffic, it could be image versus video, multiple new creatives, Google ads versus meta ads. This is kind of big stuff. Like conversion objectives is a big one where it's like, oh, am I going for the actual purchase or am I going for a lead? Long versus short copy. Even with Facebook ads, long form copy still sometimes works. I test everything. It's really easy to do it now with ChatGPT. Like I don't write my own copy now. My copy is not as good as what you would get from a professional copywriter, but they can't beat me because I just test more. I'll just go faster and I'll go, you know what, I'm just going to chuck like 32 variants out there and one of them is going to be good, surely. And it's normally the case. Even emojis in copy, that works really well, especially with paid ads. So I did this thing called the ICE framework. This is the thing that I didn't invent and use. Impact, if this works, is it a game changer? Confidence, how sure am I that this is going to work? And then ease, how easy is this to implement? And when I say easy to implement, this might be a cost thing, it could be a time thing. This is all really broad strokes, but I'll give you some examples. So with those ones that I gave, basically you score them up and you go, yeah, here's their potential impact, that it could have on the business. The confidence that I've got that this is going to be a good test and I'm going to have a positive outcome. And then the ease, how fast can I do this? An ease of 10 means I can knock this out in an afternoon. It's not going to cost me anything. I just do it myself. An ease of 1 might be, I've got to get a developer onto this. We've got to build some shit. It's going to take a couple of months. I multiply them, and then I go, well, here we go. There's the low-hanging fruit. And then I just keep doing this. So I'll go see how that goes. I might go to the next on the list, or I might rescore them because I've got new learnings. I learned something from doing those tests. But now I've got a way that I can just brainstorm a heap of ideas, score them up. Now I know what to test, and I don't try to do a heap of different stuff at once. I just go, what's my next test? What's my next test? What's my next test? Sometimes they overlap. Some tests take a little bit of time, and you might run for a few weeks. Others you might get an afternoon. But speed of testing is the biggest thing that I do in business. The faster I can be testing, the more stuff that I can be testing, the faster I'm going to be successful in that business. If you've got your own product, pricing is a really good one. Which I'll get into a little bit more, but that one's been a game changer for me because people just kind of guess a random price and go, yeah, the competitors are around this, let's just do that price. Whereas it can be a really big thing. Funnel flow, retargeting, all this stuff, you'll get it in the slides. If you're an affiliate, anyway. You'll get it in the slides. I want to get into the fun stuff. So work out something to test. We've got that down now. We know what to test, but how do we do it scientifically? How do we know with like a level of certainty that this is actually a proper test result and it's going to be reproducible and it's going to continue staying like that? And so there's this measure called statistical significance. And basically, you can just put it in a calculator, and typically what I aim for is 90% confidence. And so it's like statistically significant with 90% confidence that this is actually accurate. And how that works is we use the calculator. It's super simple. You can just go, like SurveyMonkey's got one if you're just doing A/B tests. If you're doing multivariate tests, you can get more complex ones. Just Google them, statistical significance calculator. But basically what you put in, so for example here, version A, I got 50 visitors. Version B, I got 50 visitors. 2 conversions on one, 4 conversions on the other. It says the results are not significant. And the problem is I just don't have enough traffic. I don't have enough conversions. And it's like, okay, that might have just been pure luck. And that's what we don't want. We don't want luck. We don't want flukes. We want reproducible results that we're confident in. Once we get some more traffic there, it's like 500. bits of traffic on each, and then this one's got 28, this has got 46. Now we are significant, and that one's with about 93% confidence. So this is what I try to aim for, is at least 90% plus with all of my tests that I do whenever I can get it into this framework. With SEO context, like if you were testing, say, a different style of title tag and you were trying to do CTR optimization, you would actually be putting, say, impressions and clicks as those variables there. So show of hands on this, what do you think the best ad is? And by best ad, I mean the lowest CPC. I created all of these ads. I'm not a good designer, as you can see. But show of hands, who thinks number 1 is the best ad? Number 2? Number 3, and number 4. Yeah, see, I would have thought that it was number 4 as well, but that was the worst. And this is the thing, you don't need to know, you just need to test enough. So that variant that won, that was like 8 cents CPC, that one actually, like, I just threw it in the last minute. I was like, okay, I'll just chuck in one more variant. And then it completely outperformed the others. And it's like, you just throw enough stuff at the wall, some of it's going to stick, and it's really about, you just don't know. So we're in a really interesting time right now with growth hacking and split testing and marketing, because we can produce assets way cheaper, way faster than ever before, and we can test much more effectively. And so, for example, these ads are all made with Midjourney and Figma. So Midjourney's creating an image, and then I've just got in Figma, I'm just chucking my logo or my image over the top. Yeah, ChatGPT is a better translator than DeepL in Google. And if anybody's doing any international stuff, by the way, it's just a random thing that I've noticed. Here's another set. Worst was $2.50 CPC. Best was 17 cents. You're in a different world. One of those is going to be profitable. The other one is just going to lose you a shitload of money. And then there's a bunch of them in between, and it's normally like a bit of a bell curve. But you want to find that diamond in the rough that just totally outperforms, which I feel like I could have picked it with this one as the cute fake Japanese girl. But in any case, I threw so much stuff out there, and then I was able to get something that really, really outperformed the rest. Promptbase.com. So if you I use this one to basically I buy prompts for like a couple of dollars, and it's like, okay, it'll do like it does for video generation, Midjourney, ChatGPT, all kinds of prompts, really, really cheap. And then I'm not spending all day writing different prompts and stuff. I just get these templates that I can use to generate all the stuff that I need. So Promptbase there's probably some other competitors out there, but this is the one that I use. They do have SEO prompts as well, but I haven't tested how good they are. It's worth checking out. A bit of a case study, so pricing split testing. So I feel like not enough people do this, and it's been a game changer for me. So with my old weight loss company, which was pre-Ozempic days when we had to do meal and exercise plans, the old-fashioned way, we had it at $16.95 per week. Why was it $16.95 per week? I don't know, Michelle Bridges or someone was $16.95 a week, so we just copied her. But that's not really scientific, is it? So then it was like, okay, maybe we can jack the price up and we can be a bit more profitable. It was completely at random. And our profit margin was about 60%, so like $10. So if we were able to bump that like to $19.95, we're still below $20. Psychologically, it's probably going to be better. Is it going to hurt our conversion rates? Well, we didn't know. So we actually tested it. The way that I tested this is there's lots of ways to different test it, but sometimes you just want to be a little bit hacky and fast. So I just said, okay, Western Australia is going to get their price jacked up and for a week, and then we're just going to see how the conversions go. And it turned out that there was no change in conversions. It was a 0% drop off. Now we're 30% more profitable as a company that's doing multi-million dollars in rev just by jacking the price up. And so, yeah, not enough people test their pricing. The other thing is tiered pricing. So our CLV was $130. Then we made it into 4 tiers, so weekly, monthly, quarterly to give a discount, and then a one-time offer if they paid for 6 months up front, which was at $180. So it's $50 higher than our CLV. So we know if we get them on that, because most of our cost was in like ads and stuff like that, and we hadn't, Anyway, instantly from switching the pricing model and doing these extra tiers and the one-time offer, we got our CLV up to 170. So we were able to like grow that immediately. So definitely playing around with that kind of stuff works as well. Some high impact test areas. So landing pages is the biggest one for me. And what I normally try to do is I'll try like a really short form, a really long form, or like I try to do dramatic differences so that I can get statistical significance easier. If you've got two things, like if you've got like this landing page has an orange button, this one's got a green button, it's going to take so much traffic to go through that before you're going to hit statistical significance. So what you want to do is do dramatic tests that you're going to get blowouts, win or lose, you're just going to learn. So, and then you start to see patterns and you can start to hone in and do better, more educated tests. I do the same with ad creatives, but now it's so easy to just produce them, so I'm just throwing anything I can at the wall and just seeing what works. Email sequences are a really big one because you get to keep that win, especially if you've got like an automation flow. If you can get like a bump of 10% on a subject line like the CTR on the email opening, like your open rate, you get to keep that win. Like all of these wins, they start to stack. And you can go from like a business that's kind of a little bit profitable to very profitable just by iterating over all the different areas of your business. And some of this stuff's just so easy to do, to test. Like there's no reason to not be testing your subject lines. Your funnel flow, as I said, your pricing, internationalization, traffic sources is a big one. I love testing different traffic sources. I've made a heap of money with Snapchat ads over the years because no one's doing Snapchat ads. It's really cheap CPMs. I always look at different traffic sources where not everyone else is. Order bumps, so as they're going through the checkout, a little checkbox. So with Ozempic, we're about to add an order bump for a genetic DNA testing that's going to tell you the kind of foods you should have and avoid. It's an easy order bump. We make a little bit extra money there. We'll see what the uptake is, but like that's free money. It's not going to hurt my conversion rate. It's just I'm leaving money on the table not having that there. Tested ideas for SEO. So outreach emails, subject and style. You should be testing aggressively here. Title tags, even word counts and stuff like that for your industry. This is the thing where like everybody's industry is different. You hear all these things. There's so many SEO gurus out there. I've been at SEO over the years. I'm not doing it right now, but like you hear conflicting stuff. And for me, it's like, well, I just want to find out. So why don't you run your own test in your own market, in your own industry, and you find out what actually works for you. It's a lot better to do that. And that comes down to like image count. The thing that a lot of SEOs don't do is they're not testing their CTAs and stuff like that as well. I feel like there's a lot of room for, like when I see like stuff that's ranking, there's a lot of room for like testing like different call to actions and different ways that you can conversion optimize your landing pages and even layout as well, just to make it like, actually hire a decent designer to get them to go over it. But don't just assume that it's going to be better because sometimes ugly stuff does work better, so test that. Test every assumption. Internal link count, schema, does schema work? Does schema not work? I don't know. Test it yourself. With SEO, you can test historically. So you can make an assumption, then you can go look at your data, and you can go, okay, actually, my pages that did this versus my pages that did this, and then you can run that, and you can start to find the patterns and actually look, is that statistically significant that this thing that I believe is true is true? This is a new method. So I've got a company called the Global Gaming League. It's over in the States. We're about to launch. My business partner on that is T-Pain, the rapper. Pretty random, right? This is my 9-figure company. So it's celebrity-owned teams. I won't explain the whole thing, but it's a really cool project. I had a problem though. We wanted to grow the Instagram. And you can target Facebook likes as an objective, but you can't target Instagram follows. And it was like, look, our market's on Instagram. We really need to be hitting that. What can we do? So I came up with a method. So I got Payne to do a video, and basically what we were doing, we came up with this idea, well, we need players for the league. Now we could go get players from agencies and stuff like that, or just go reach out to streamers, or we could do like a draft. And so with that draft, I was able to come up with this ad concept where it's like, hey, do you want to make money as a video gamer? Why don't you join the draft? We put them through a Facebook lead form, and then on the thank you page, I say make sure that you follow us on Instagram. And so I get the double whammy. So I'm paying for the Facebook lead form, but then I'm basically convincing them, hey, go follow us on Instagram too. And I'm getting that follow on Instagram for free. So because I'm just paying for the lead form. And this worked so well. Like this got us to 200K on our 150 to 200K on our email list. I've got to check the numbers. And almost 100K on our Instagram, and we only spent like 30K. You might go, oh, well, that's probably easy because you had T-Pain in the ad, but then I test everything, so that was an assumption, and it turned out like a random gamer girl performed better. Like I just got like a random gamer girl to do a video on an iPhone, it outperformed. So it's like I said test everything. So I even use split testing to get a wife. So random growth hack to wrap this one up. So it turns out Tinder has like a hotness score for everyone. I inspected their API to work out that part. Like a man in the middle attack kind of thing. And I worked out that like if you swipe no on a hot person, they assume you're hot. You go, oh, if you're rejecting that 10, you must be really hot, so you get a little bump in score. Now I want my kids to have like a nice beautiful tan, so I went, okay, I only want like a Middle Eastern girl or like a South American girl. So all the blondes swipe no, because I have a hard time getting a tan. Don't want my kids to have that burden. And so this was really good because all the hot blondes are getting swiped no. My attractiveness score's going bang, bang, bang. I split tested profile pictures, profile description, and then also split tested the hell out of opening messages because that's one of the big ones. I made fake accounts in cities I don't live in with my photos so I could split test what's the best versions of my photos and my profile. I went pretty hard at this. So then I had to impress the girl. So yeah, heaps of fake profiles, split tested images, all that. Split tested over 1,000 messages, actually. And so if you could come up, here's the result. Thanks for that. The beautiful Miss Iran, Shireen Haydari. The winning message, you look extremely stylish. Are you actually stylish or are you just pretending? Over 60% response rate. But you got to test for your own profile, but yeah, that's it.